Hey everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. Today we're doing something a little interesting. We are going to compare a plug-in hybrid with a gasoline Kia Sorento. Now there's a lot of reasons I want to do this. Obviously we have to talk about the differences between plug-in hybrid, and gasoline engines. Full gasoline, we'll talk about that a little bit later. There are also some differences between what a hybrid or a PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, is between different brands of vehicles, so we'll talk about that. And there are some practical differences. Rear seat space is different in some of these vehicles. Power rating is different. Drive modes are different. So we're going to talk about the differences between the full gasoline, in other words, non-hybrid Sorento, the hybrid Sorento, and the PHEV Sorento. And I hope this will be a good video for you. And here's how this works. We're going to spend about a half an hour going over the finer details. These videos are a little bit more in-depth than your typical thing. And that's because we show you things that your other videos are not going to show you. So in the meantime, because we also film these live and take your audience sort of participation, we are going to get to that to the actual content of this video at the 3-minute mark. So if you're not watching live with us and you just want the content, you don't want to hear me ramble about news, notes, and other stuff, then you can skip ahead to the 3-minute mark if you want. If you don't skip ahead, I'm going to show you how to join us live if you want, because we do this every single weekday at 2 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll also talk some news and some notes. So here we go. Let's dig right in. How to join us live, you go to our YouTube channel, you'll find this video right here, which we are working on, a new replacement for that video there. But if you refresh the page exactly at 2 o'clock Eastern time, so it's December 1st, happy December everyone, refreshing the page exactly at 2 o'clock, you will see our live video takes over that main spot on our page. We can click into that, you're gonna have to watch a quick little ad, and oh boy, that's different the way it opened up there. Oh boy, I need to open this up for a second. Hold on a second here, guys. All right, sorry, gotta play that. Oh boy. Close the player. I'm having some issues here on my own computer. Oh, I see what I did. I hit add to the queue. There we go. So I'm gonna watch a quick little ad here. I'm gonna try to skip through that ad, and this is what happens when I don't look at my screen when I'm doing stuff. All right, if you are interested in buying a vehicle in Ontario, you can buy it through our dealer group. There are 3 dealers that support this channel, and that is Brantford Kia, Brantford Hyundai, and Owen Sound Hyundai. So if you're interested in buying a vehicle in Ontario, when this video is done, there will be a link in the description. You can connect with me. And I do want to say, especially something like a PHEV or hybrid, I'm not going to talk down anybody else, but we do find that our dealership has set out to be experts on these vehicles. If we don't know the answers, and there will be times in this video that I don't know the answers, we will do our best to find out for you. And we have a pretty good reputation with EVs. I'm a big-time EV fan myself, so yeah, especially with those vehicles, if you're in Ontario, we'd like to earn your business, give us a chance. So we're already at the 3-minute mark. No more time to talk about what's going on. Do me a favor, if you're a regular with us, hit that like button. We're a little low on likes right now. If you're not a regular, we'll try to earn it. All right, 3 minutes in. Hey, everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel. All right, so what we're doing today is, like I said, Sorento PHEV in front, Sorento Hybrid, and gasoline Sorento. Now, I've ordered them kind of in the order of fuel mileage, but even that can be deceiving. So let's talk about that for a second. All right, also the other thing I want to cover, I just walked into a building, or a cabinet here. The other thing I want to talk about is these are not all the same trim lines. Obviously, inventory is tight right now. I'm doing the best I can, so I can't match up trim lines, and I think that's okay for this video, but we can obviously go through these trim lines in a later video. So first things first, the PHEV, for most people, is going to get the best mileage. Then there's the hybrid, which is going to be an in-between mileage, still excellent mileage, and then there's the regular gasoline version, and there are actually 2 gasoline engine models that we'll talk about here. Now, I say for most people because it gets a little tricky, so let's just quickly look at the Kia Canada website for a second. And here's our Sorento regular gasoline, 191 horsepower or 281 horsepower. We have the 281 horsepower X-Line with us today. X-Line in Canada is a little different than X-Line in the States, but it is the 2.5-liter turbo engine. Fuel mileage, 11.1, 8.4. Now you'll notice that the turbo engine with all this extra horsepower actually gets better highway mileage than the 191 horsepower 2.5-liter turbo without. So we're already doing with great highway mileage, a little bit worse city mileage than the 4-cylinder non-turbo, but there's our gasoline car, the X-Line with a 2.5 turbo. Skipping ahead here to the HEV, which is hybrid, and PHEV. Now, hybrid horsepower is 227. Kia Canada has an error on their website at 227 here. This should be 261. We'll show you that later. We've talked to them about this, and hopefully they'll get updated. But look at the fuel mileage. 6.4 in the city compared to 2.8. 7 liters compared to 3.2. Now, PHEV, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle fuel mileage, which we will talk about, is a little different because you could drive this vehicle. What is a PHEV? PHEV has pure electric range. You can drive it on pure electric range, but in this case, it's only got 51 kilometers of rated PHEV or electric range. And what that means is that if you're running all of your daily errands, 20, 30, 40 kilometers or less, and the temperature is kind of warm, 3 seasons of the year, you could run this on pure electric for thousands and thousands of kilometers and never run the gasoline engine, or very rarely run the gasoline engine itself. It will do some things to take care of itself sometimes. But the idea is if you do that, you're gonna get like 0 liters per 100 kilometers. If you run out of charge on this car, and you're running it purely as a hybrid, which again, we'll talk about how that's different than some other cars, then you're gonna get around 7.2, 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers, which actually makes it a slight little bit worse than the regular hybrid that is a little bit less expensive and never has to be plugged in. So, but this one, of course, can't run pure electric. And then, of course, that one is the fuel mileage, the worst one, but it's also, in my opinion, the most fun to drive. Now, most people aren't buying Sorentos as a pure fun to drive thing. These aren't Kia Stingers, they are Kia Sorentos. So that may or may not matter to you. So here's how we're gonna go through this as quick as we can. And like I said, we will have plenty of opportunity in this video to take your questions, but I'm gonna kind of ramble through a lot of important stats and facts and stuff, just because I'm not sure where everybody is in their knowledge of understanding everything. Plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. Ignore that for a second, let's start with the hybrid. What a hybrid does is it has a gasoline motor and it has an electric motor and some batteries. And what it does is it blends the two. Most of the time it's blending the two. It can run purely on electric power alone for short spurts, but from a driver's point of view, you get in, you drive it like a traditional vehicle, you never plug it in, and it just gets you great mileage. And the way it does that is when you're accelerating, for instance, instead of only revving your gasoline engine, it can use the electric motors to assist. When you're driving down the highway, it can use the electric motors to assist. So you always have this electric motor assistance or even electric motor running all by itself for short spurts, and it gets you great mileage. If you want a no compromise vehicle but want to get better mileage in almost half the in-town fuel usage from that car to this car, but you don't want any compromises, no plugging in, you want to drive across the country and do all that kind of stuff, this is a almost no compromise car. I say almost because towing capacity is a little bit less, styling is a little different, but a hybrid charges its battery through the engine running, through coasting and braking. It recaptures that energy, throws it in the battery, and you can use it. And it works very well. There's no thinking. You don't have to figure anything out. You put it in drive, you go, it gets itself great mileage. There are always little tweaks to sort of hyper mile, as they call it. You can drive it a little bit more efficient and get a significant fuel savings. But that's how a hybrid works. So again, gasoline motor, electric motors working together, never have to plug it in, never have to think about it. This vehicle is exactly the same. It does everything I just talked about. Gasoline motor, electric, but in the addition to that, you have the ability to plug in. Now, I am currently plugged into our level 2 charger. Don't worry about a level 2, level 1 charger. We'll get to that later. But you have the ability to have an extra gas door, which isn't a gas door, it's an electric door on this one, and you can plug it in. When you plug it in, you're going to get what's rated for 51 kilometers of pure electric range on this car. It can be different on different cars. So what that does is most people use that right away. You can save it for later in your trip, but most people use it right away. And 3 seasons of the year, when you're not running your gasoline engine for some heat in the winter, you're going to be able to run this vehicle, in most cases, on purely electric for those 51-ish kilometers. And that can vary a little bit, just like your fuel mileage can vary a little bit. So the benefit with this one is most of your everyday driving, or at least the first 50 or so kilometers of your everyday driving, can be done on a less expensive, more environmentally friendly, at least in Canada especially, electric power. So this is kind of the nice standard of no compromises with a little bit of a benefit, but it's not a full EV. There's no range anxiety. If you can't charge, you just drive across the country. And like I said, around the 7.2, 7.3 liters per 100 kilometers once that charge is done. Now, there's a big difference between the way we do our plug-in hybrids in the Kia and Hyundai lineup compared to something like, let's call it the Jeep Wrangler 4xe. The Jeep Wrangler 4xe uses a 4-cylinder turbo engine, and it gets great, I think it's 30 some odd kilometers of electric range, maybe it's a little bit more, somewhere in the range of electric range. But when you run out of that electric range, at that point, the mileage, you're better off getting just the 4-cylinder Jeep because it gets better mileage than the PHEV does once the electric range is changed. That is not the case with ours. This one, although slightly worse, very slightly worse mileage than the regular hybrid, does get better mileage than the gas by a significant margin. 30% or so, I think, is roughly the numbers if we do the math. We can do the math a little bit later. So again, a lot of people are going to see mileage numbers at the 2.8, 3.2, 4 point something liters per 100 kilometers very easily, whereas on the hybrid, you're going to be in this and that range. And on the gasoline vehicle, you will be in that range or this range. Those are the two gasoline engines there. So there's definitely significant savings to be had in fuel efficiency, but with that comes a cost because batteries are not inexpensive. They do cost something. And we can look over pricing again. These are different trim lines, so we can look over that a little bit later. But this one, a little bit more expensive. You probably pay it off in fuel mileage alone for most people. This one, especially in the lower trim levels, is a really good deal because in the EX model, for instance, the EX version of this car, this is the EX Plus, but the EX version of that car, and this one isn't EX, if they were the exact same, we're looking at, you know, roughly $500-700 difference for the PHEV for significant more savings because the PHEV has a $2,500 discount or rebate from the Canadian government on this car. So that brings every PHEV that we sell right now $2,500 government rebate, which puts it a little closer to some of the other models in the lineup. So that's the way the power works. Now, we're going to talk about four-wheel drive. We're going to look inside these vehicles in the drive systems, the terrain modes, the drive modes, and we're going to go rear seat space, which is also different in these vehicles, and we're going to go trunk space, which can be slightly different, and there's some tweaks there that you may not see right away. All of that is coming up. So I know that you probably have some questions. Feel free to start asking them at any point. Do me a favor, give a like if you can, but we're going to keep digging through here. All right, a lot of hybrids, plug-in hybrids, for instance, what they do is they give you electric motors just on the rear wheel drive. So you have a gasoline powered engine or hybrid system powering the front and then gasoline on the rear. All of these vehicles are all-wheel drive. And on all of these vehicles, they're actually the same system, and it's an excellent all-wheel drive system. There is a drive shaft running back. So your gasoline and electric motor, and gasoline motor all power all four wheels in the exact same way. To me, at this point in this technology stage, that's the best way to do it. There will probably come a time where it's best to switch it out to electric and pure electric and those kind of things. But right now, given the way technology is, that is the best way to do it in my opinion. And what it does is every time you start these vehicles in the snow with all, or any whether snow, good track, doesn't matter, all four wheels receive power from the powertrain. And then as you maintain traction, it'll move it to primarily front-wheel drive, always at least 95 and 5%. The drive modes and terrain modes can vary how much splits, but all of them are capable of being at least 50-50 power, and that works out well. That's an important thing because what happens is a lot of other systems, you have to wait for the front wheels to slip before it'll send power to the rear wheels. In other words, think about it practically when you're driving in snow. These aren't off-roading systems, even though they have terrain modes, you can kind of use them off-road. When you're driving in snow, which is how most of us Canadians want our all-wheel drive system, the front wheels have to, and on our competitors, front wheels have to lose traction, and then you send power to the rear wheels, which starts pushing and trying to regain traction. That's not how our system works. Our system does not want to lose traction. When you lose traction, the car gets squirrely, and then you have to regain traction by sending power all around and it's trying to regain traction. That's what makes you feel like your car is not good in the snow. These ones are excellent in the snow because they always send all the power where it needs to go and will move it away as you still have traction. So that's an important thing to look at. All right, we're going to start at the driver's seat there and then work the driver's seats here. Like I said, rear seat space is also something we got to look at, so let's keep going here. Could you provide, please, the information of which trim has auto-dimming mirrors? I don't remember the trim off the top of my head, so I'll have to do that a little bit later in a different video. These are different trims, so that might be a different video, or I might have to answer that outside in the comments differently. All right, gasoline vehicles. Again, different trim lines. Cars aren't perfectly clean. This is sort of the way we do things, guys. I know you guys sometimes criticize me for not having clean cars, but the catch with having these videos is they won't always be perfect. Biggest difference in the gasoline model, you have an 8-speed transmission. Whether you're at the 4-cylinder turbo or whether you're the 4-cylinder non-turbo, let me just turn the radio down for a second. You do have an automatic transmission. They are both... let me just turn the climate off. There we go. They are both 8-speed automatics here, and they are traditional automatics where I can tap this if I wanted to and change the gears right there. Now, if you don't want to change the gears on your own. Like again, this is the manual shift mode. You can change the gears like that. Otherwise, it's just regular drive, automatic transmission. You do also have the option of a paddle shift system here. That obviously changes the gears up. This obviously changes the gear down. If you just play with these while you're in drive, which is what we're in right now, drive mode right there. The dash is dirty here too. Oh, this car needs to be cleaned up a little bit. Anyways, if you just play with this paddle shifters here while you're in drive, it can change the gears. It won't do it while the car is parked here and stopped. If you hold the right side gear shift, it'll bring it back to drive, or you can tap this way and that. This is important because this is one of the differences you're going to see in the PHEVs. They have dial style shifters and the hybrid. So the regular gear shift, regular driving gasoline car, that's how they work. I do want to show you as well the drive modes here. You have comfort, eco, sport, and smart. You do not have the comfort mode in the other vehicles. So we'll show you that when it comes through here. And then you have a terrain mode. Again, in Canada, you have the terrain modes here. You don't have this in the States, of snow, mud, and sand. Same thing in both. Again, primarily these cars are designed for the snow. They are a little bit capable in mud and sand. They are not Jeep Wranglers. So let's be honest, if you're in a country road, like a cottage road or camping road, these can be helpful for you just to optimize not only the four-wheel drive system, but the throttle mapping, the traction control system, stability control system, all those kinds of things, hill descent control. That's what they're really useful for, but really snow mode. Now, you don't have to put it in snow mode when the snow hits. You can just drive it. It's always the four-wheel drive, but the snow mode optimizes it. One of the things I really like about the snow mode is it very much dulls the throttle on from a stop. So when you give it the gas, it just accelerates very smoothly and slowly to avoid that rush of slippage, which can create some ice at an intersection, but also causes you to slip. So again, drive modes here. You still have the terrain modes in all of these vehicles of snow, mud, and sand. Switch to the drive modes and you go from smart, sport, eco, and comfort in the gas car. All right, we've got that. Let's memorize that for a second. Let's jump in here. We haven't even talked about the exterior differences, which we need to talk about on some of these cars because there are some exterior differences that when you compare equal trim to equal trim in these vehicles. So now we're getting in the hybrid. When we hop in the hybrid, oh, terrible camera work here again, but that's how we do things around here. All right, when we hop in the hybrid, going to turn it to the on position, same thing. This one won't be able to switch gears for me until I fully start the car. You can see a nice little clearer space here. It says Sorento nicely there, but you have this dial style shifter, some reflection to the camera. I can see it perfectly. And then if I put the brake on, I could switch it. It's only in neutral. That way it taps it to drive. This way taps it to reverse. P is for park. And it's kind of a nice feeling shifter in there. Again, that's just the way it is. There's no automatic or mode to switch to manual, but you do again have the paddle shifters, which again, holding the right side will bring it back to drive. Left side is downshift, right side is upshift. Holding this pulls it back to drive. So again, 6-speed transmissions in the hybrid and PHEV, 8-speed in the gas models, and the 8-speed, actually, depending on the gas model, is a different style of automatic transmission. We can talk about that a little bit later if you want. Now, down here in the drive and terrain mode, eco, sport, and smart, so no comfort mode, but same thing over here, snow, mud, and sand, and they work the exact same way. So again, one less drive mode. The PHEV that we have is the exact same. So, let me just show you over here, just so we can show you. Whoops. Camera work is not my strong point right now. All right, PHEV right here. And exact same thing. I don't know if I have to turn the car on. We'll turn it on for you. So there you go. Exact same things we just showed in the hybrid, eco, sport, and smart. And again, the drive modes are snow, mud, and sand, and the same gear shift there, and really no difference. Now, there is an extra button here for the EV and HEV. Let's just talk about what that one is. That's the only car that has it, is the PHEV. And somebody says, can I improve the buying experience with Kia Hyundai dealerships? And I didn't read the rest of your comment, but yes, I can improve your buying experience with Kia and Hyundai dealerships. We work for a dealer group. Buy from our dealer group. You don't see other dealers doing these videos. We go over and above to make you informed, help make the process well. So that's what I can do to help you buy with better buying experience. Okay, EV and HEV button there. On the, whoa, that's not what I want. On the PHEV, you don't want to look at me. On the PHEV, you have the ability to leave your house or garage and use it on pure electric mode. That EV and HEV button, HEV stands for hybrid electric vehicle, which sounds familiar because it's like that. allows you to leave your house in hybrid mode and save your electric range for somewhere else. So of course I live, let's say I want to go camping, or let's just say I'm going to a friend's house and I want to show off my pure electric vehicle, which of course this isn't a pure electric vehicle, but they're 100 kilometers away. Well, I hit the HEV button, it drives in hybrid mode, so still getting great fuel efficiency until I reach my friend's house. And sometimes it'll go on pure electric, even in hybrid mode. But you'll preserve your pure electric range. And what I'm talking about when I say your pure electric range is this car is currently plugged in. Hopefully I can show you while it's plugged in. Let's just see here. Yep, 35 minutes to go to full percent. Let's just show you in the dash. Your pure electric range on this car is, it's not letting me get there. Let's just see. There we go, 44 kilometers at this point right now. So I could drive the 160 or whatever kilometers. Let me just go back, 163 kilometers of gas until without refueling, I need to get gas in this car. But I could also save that 44 kilometers that I still have right now in this car. And the reason it's telling me that percentage is because it's plugged in. We'll talk about that in a second. But I could preserve that pure electric range for when I get to my friend's house and I want to show off this car driving on pure electric, even at highway speeds, even through town, those kind of things. So you can save that range by hitting that button. Now, the difference in owning these cars, oops, let's just zoom back out. Difference in owning these cars. That car, you're going to go to the gas station about twice as often, maybe, 40% or whatever more as this one, right? So that's the way that works. And then this car, same thing. You're going to go to the gas station here. This one has a 67-liter fuel tank. I believe that one does as well. This one has a 47-liter fuel tank. The fuel tank is smaller, and again, for most people, that's going to make absolutely no difference because you're going to be driving and getting substantially better fuel mileage. But they have a little smaller tank to make room for more batteries, and the only lifestyle difference you're going to make in this car is when you come home every night or during the day, you are going to take your plug and plug it in. Very simple to do. Oh, there's the other thing. While it's charging, the default is it's set to this. So nobody can unplug your charger if you're at the mall using the public chargers or everything else. So what I'm going to do is just quickly unlock the car and be able to get to that. So to just quickly do it, just do an unlock of all the doors. And then your only lifestyle change is you come home and you plug this in. That's it. So let me show you how we do that. This is just your little dust cap there. We're going to put that on top. Like that, and then your fuel door is there. So we're going to open that fuel door. We're going to take our little cap. We're going to set it in this little custom spot right here. And whether we have a regular plug in the wall, like a regular outlet like you plug your toaster into, or whether you have a level 2 charger, it's as simple as this. Push it in, click, and done. That's the only lifestyle change you're going to make, whether you have a faster charger or the slower charger that plugs in the wall. That's the only difference with a PHEV. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take your questions. Next step I'm going to do is talk about the exterior styling differences. There are significant styling differences between the exact same trim. So let's call it the SX PHEV and hybrid and the SX gasoline model. So we're going to talk about those styling differences. Then we're going to go rear seat space, where we're going to show you that there's also a difference there for comfort, and you can decide which one's better for that. And we're going to go to the trunk space, where there is some differences in the trunk. So there we go. All right, so I don't know what you guys are talking about, but we'll jump back in here. Do me a favor, guys. We got about 93 people on right now. I'd love to get 90 likes. So maybe we can hit the like button right now. If we all hit it together, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit the like button right now. You'll see a whole bunch of change. There'll be a bunch of people joining us in about 5 minutes. So, all right, let's let you look at those for a second while I get questions pulled up here. And let's see what we can find. All right. So I just read a question off topic, had a different vehicle mentioned. We're going to stay with this video, these topics for the next few minutes, 7 or so minutes, answer the questions related to these 3 vehicles, and then we'll move to off-topic questions a little bit later in the video. So there we go. Okay, can I get a Turbo 4 with a bench seat in the middle row? Not in Canada. So all of these vehicles are captain's chairs in the middle. The 4-cylinder non-turbo, you can get a bench seat in the middle. Keep an eye out on that new Sportage, which is coming out, Sportage in the States. Very similarly sized vehicles, a little bit smaller, but not much smaller. It's going to have a 5-passenger bench seat in there. So there we go. Is there a 12-volt near the driver's seat? Yes, there is. Okay. Are you saying you showed off all the electric sold everyone? Oh, no. Can you remote start the PHEV in EV mode only in case it's in the garage? Good point. All of these vehicles have remote start on the key fob. All of them need to be started outdoors only. There's a chance that they will run the engine, especially if they're warming up. So all of these vehicles, treat them as a gasoline engine because they all have gasoline engines. If you want a full EV, like I have at home, then you can remote start it in the garage, which is actually just remote climate. But good question there. If you want to remote start them, they will use, or they certainly in most cases, they will use gasoline engine, but they can use gasoline engine. So there we go. Okay. Okay. Somebody likes my glasses. That's great. I think that's about it. Okay, so let's just keep jumping around here. Styling differences. This is an EX Plus model. That's an EX model. That is just below the EX model there. But I want to show you some differences here. This front bumper area, once you move higher trim, this is the X line. So once you move a higher trim, you have a different front bumper here on the gas model. And what it does is it adds this kind of look to it in a piano black trim here. So this model here, actually we'll just show you this one because I have a little more room to work. This hybrid model, there we go, this is piano black right there. So see that sort of piano black, shiny kind of area? On a regular gasoline EX Plus, this is an EX Plus PHEV, that piano black will also be around the wheels here and along the bottom without that silver trim, around the wheels there. And you have black wheels that match the look of our X line. Those ones are actually gray right now, but you would have black style wheels that are very similar to those. So there's a significant difference in the look because that piano black trim, in my mind, looks a little bit more expensive, maybe a little bit more sporty. Not everybody loves it, but it is definitely a different look. So like I say, piano black here, and then moving back throughout, you get a lot of that piano black on this car. It's something worth thinking about, and you'll know exactly what I mean when you go to a local dealership or you come to our dealership and you see the SX. And if you go to the wrong dealership, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, the hybrid's the exact same. It's an SX, the trim line, almost everything's the exact same. They are not at all the same. They look a lot different. You can tell the wheel look difference here. There's even a wheel size difference. These are, I believe, 18s. Oh, now I'm calling myself out and I didn't check it out. Nope, sorry, these are 19s. Those are 20s over there. So, oh boy, now I got to make sure. I believe these are 20. These look larger for me. So let's just make sure. Where's the size? You guys will probably find it before I will. Oh, there we go. So they are 20s. Yes. So 20-inch wheels there, 18 or 19-inch. All right. Are we back? I know we had an interruption there. I just want to make sure I'm back with the signal here. So somebody let me know. Maybe one of the regulars let me know that we're back. Anyway, so different size wheels, different looking wheels, and you will see that. So when we go trim for trim, even though it's an EX there and an EX Plus here, the EX and EX Plus models and SX models do look differently than the gas models. Now, let's jump into the rear seat real quickly. We'll start in the gas model because, frankly, the gas model has a more comfortable rear seat, and it's not by a whole lot, but there's a difference. And again, this is what happens when people start coming through and you go to a regular dealer, you don't come to our dealer, and they say, oh, the sales guy goes, oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's basically the same car. It's not. So that's why we're doing this video. When you jump in here, I have more space to the floor with my legs. So let's just jump in for a second. Headroom, seat seems about the same. This one does not have a sunroof. It's the X-Line in Canada, which is different than the X-Line in States, but no sunroof. Headroom, space, legroom is great. Where there's a difference is my legs right now can go basically flat to the seat. Let's see if I can get a little extra light in here. Basically flat to the seat, and my legs are straight, and I can stretch them out. The floor is lower in this vehicle. In the other vehicles, there's batteries below the floor, so they hang down a little bit lower, and they also come up into the floor. So the floor is risen up, which allows for, well, you'll see in a second, but basically my knees aren't as flat on the space, and I'll have less foot room, which we'll try to show you here. Less foot room here than I have here. You can see I've got tons of room there. So again, in this gasoline model, you have the most legroom, foot room for the compared to the hybrids. Now let's just show you hybrid and PHEV, interestingly, are the exact same because they don't have the same batteries. There's a difference there. Well, let me just jump into the hybrid here. Again, jumping in this one, different trim line. This one, again, no sunroof here. Let's just leave the door open for some extra light. No sunroof here, same headroom. Coming down here, looking at my legs, I'm on the seat still, but if I come up like this, I'm just a little bit up, whereas the last one I was on. So just a slight bit higher floor in this model. And also, let's just flip the camera around. Again, sorry for the poor camera work. As we look down over here, you do have a little bit less legroom. Now, I have my big size 11 feet. They easily, even with a large sole on these shoes for my foot injuries, they still fit underneath the seat. So still comfortable here. But if you're wearing work boots or if you're just a really large person, it is a little bit of a difference here in the hybrid, and we'll just show you the PHEV just so you see it as well. It is my belief that the PHEV is the exact same, but I'll let you sort of judge for yourself as we jump across and jump inside. This one, again, a little different headroom just because of the panoramic roof, because again, I mentioned all these trims are different. Leg space down here. Again, same thing with my legs spread out there. Come on, camera. Oh, there we go. So same thing there with my, come on, there we go. Legs flat on the seat. When I come up, just a little bit up there. And again, we'll just open the door for a little extra light. Plenty of leg space, plenty of legroom, plenty of comfort in all of them. But again, just a little bit less. My top of the foot is touching. Instead of being able to kind of lift my foot up and down, it is kind of touching there. So that's the difference in the rear seat space. One last difference in trunk space. And I'm going to start with the PHEV. So let's just pop that open. We won't do our teddy bear test today. Usually we throw the teddy bears in. Teddy bear, it's the same amount of teddy bears per trunk. If you've regularly seen our videos, we usually stuff the teddy bear in, and he kind of measures our trunk space. You can see if the seats are folded down, you've got tons of room. You've got 2 rear seats here. This is your level 1 charger. Plugs in just like your toaster, right? So you just plug that into a regular outlet. It will take a little bit longer to charge, but very simple system there. We happen to be using the level 2 charger, which you can find, you can install in your house if you want. It's not something you need to install with a PHEV, but it is something you can install. And if you go to a regular mall or just about anywhere, level 2 chargers are pretty regular. You can't go to a level 3 charger, which is the ultra fast charging. Those are EV only. So the PHEV, there's no benefit to have that kind of fast charging. I mean, I guess there would be, but you know what I'm saying. So underneath the floor here, you do have the jack on the right-hand side, and you have a panel there. This is the 12-volt battery. Now, if it's me, I would take this charger here, bundle it up, maybe pull up this panel right here, and leave that panel out. And what I would do is store my charger right there if you're going to keep it in the car. A lot of people just keep it at their house, but you do have a spot to put it. But there's not a ton of underfloor storage. In fact, almost none in the hybrid and the PHEV. I'm not going to open the hybrid because it's identical to this. Your battery is back here. So 12-volt battery, that's just the regular car battery. Whereas if you go to the gasoline model over here, again, different trim line. This one does not have a power tailgate, whereas the other one did. But when you go back to here, again, same situation. The seats will be folding down. It'll be same idea. And over here, you have a much larger underfloor storage space in the gasoline model. And again, that jack sits a little bit lower. 2022, all models, PHEV, hybrid, doesn't matter, gas model, they all have spare tires for 2022. 2021, the gasoline was the only one we had here in Canada, did not have a spare tire, had an inflator kit. So I know a lot of you guys like your spare tires, and I just think on this type of vehicle it should have one, and they do. So there we go, we're 33 minutes in. I'm gonna go back, take your questions. We got 102 people on. It'd be super cool to get 100 likes. If you guys wanted to help me get there, that'd be cool. And we'll do our best. The reason we're making these videos is because I think a lot of people will kind of lazily do their product knowledge studying, and you're going to go around and you're going to find people that aren't as knowledgeable as our team here. I'm in charge of training our team here at our dealer. We want you to earn your business. That's what we do it. So somebody says, I live in Florida, can I buy from you? No, if you're in Florida, you got to go buy from your own dealer, which is why we make these videos, and you can just like the videos, comment on it, help us out that way, subscribe. But if you're in Ontario, we want to earn your business, because I'm telling you right now, your ownership experience will go better when you buy these vehicles from us, because we do our research. They are not the same no matter what you do. So I'm going to take your questions here. Yeah, again, I'm begging for likes here. So if we can get to, we got 110 people on, it'd be really cool if we could get to about 100 likes or so. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can here. Let me just go down to the bottom. Do Kia Hyundai sell level 2 chargers and cables? They don't. So I think they've just kind of taken the opinion that they don't want to make, choose a winner kind of thing for chargers. You will get the level 1 charger. That's the one that plugs in the wall just like your toaster. You'll get that with the vehicle, so that's not a big issue. And But you do want to get, if you do want to get a level 2 charger, we can certainly recommend things at the dealer level. There's good resources out there of what to do, and I would certainly help you with that as well. But the brand itself doesn't sell. Somebody asked a really good question. A lot of our EVs, we like to keep them between 80 and 20%. That's a full electric vehicle between 80 and 20%, or 20 and 80%. Only charging above when we need the power, only dropping below when we need that range. So on a PHEV, don't worry about it. Just kind of manage it. And I mean, sort of worry about it, but you're probably not going to drive your car 3 kilometers at a time and come back and charge, 3 kilometers at a time, come back and charge. That's what we're kind of talking about, or 10 kilometers, you know. So in the general sense on a PHEV, just drive it. The only thing I recommend, and this is me, this isn't Kia, is if you're going away for a long time and storing the car, leave the car around 80% or so. We don't like to store batteries at full capacity because it's just not the best practice for them. It doesn't probably really matter. But PHEV, you don't have to worry about maintaining your battery. Hybrid, you don't have to worry about maintaining your battery. Just charge it when you need it and go from there. And again, you can run it completely dead on a PHEV because it's completely designed to do that. And it actually never runs completely dead because it saves some of that battery for hybrid, which is a whole other story. We can talk about that a little bit later. So good question. Don't worry about running to 80%. Just let it go to 100%. All right, level 1. If the level 1 charger is used only, is there any details on how the battery holds up in a lifetime by using level 1 instead of level 2? So Kia doesn't give us any stats on which one's better. I wouldn't think a level 1 or level 2 is going to make any difference. I happen to use a level 1 charger for my electric vehicle, which is not something I recommend for most people because it does take longer to charge. However, in my full electric vehicle, where I could be stranded if I don't use a good charger, for my lifestyle, it hasn't been an issue for my wife where I had to use the level 1 charger almost exclusively. Of course, I can use level 2 at work. I have a level 2 near my house as well. But level 1 charger, level 2 charger isn't really going to make a difference. I think a lot of people kind of go into the specs a little too much or into the fear a little too much because they're unknown with batteries. A battery in a car is not like your cell phone. I know a cell phone after like 2, 3, 4 years, the battery's just not the same. These cars have warranties on the hybrid systems, plug-in hybrid systems that are longer than the regular car, more kilometers than the regular car. There's a lot of confidence in them, especially in a hybrid. As a class, hybrids are among the most reliable vehicles you can get. So plug-in hybrids are not really a whole lot different there. And they're just, the overall technology has been consistently reliable. And there's no learning curve for the average person. They just, you know, drive it, plug it in if you've got a plug in, off you go. All right, we're 36 minutes. We'll go for a couple more minutes here. Does Kia Sorento have higher trim for hybrid? We only have an EX. Sorento Hybrid. No, I think it's just the EX. Let me just pull my screen up here. I'll show you right here on the Kia Canada website. So hybrid only goes to EX, then we go PHEV, which goes EX, EX Plus, and SX. Now keep in mind, the pricing that you see here for these, all of these are $2,500, will be $2,500 MSRP, or sorry, there's a $2,500 rebate from the federal government in Canada. So those are Canadian prices without the rebate applied. So there is that. So let me just go back to our questions here. Does PHEV have resistive heat with the engine off? So on our vehicles, there is a PTC heater in these vehicles, I believe, at least in the hybrid. At the end of the day, the vehicle is designed to run the gasoline engine when it needs to. So for instance, if you need full power in these vehicles, in the hybrids or the PHEV, it's going to run the electric motor and the gas engine. So even if you're in full EV mode, if you floor it, the gasoline engine will come on because that's what gets you full power. So because of that and other factors, and just the fact that you need to move through some gas, ignore the fact that sometimes your engine will turn on. It is the car taking care of itself. And if you need to have a PHEV that only runs on electric, then you need to buy a full electric vehicle. When you buy a gasoline vehicle, you have to sort of allow it to maintain itself a little bit. In the winter, they need to have that heat there because think about it this way. If you're getting on the highway and all of a sudden you got to floor it past a transport truck or a line of transport trucks, you need to floor it for safety. You don't want the ice cold engine to start up and then be flooring it. So this car will do some things in the winter to maintain itself, including running the gasoline engine a little bit more than in the rest of the 3 seasons of a year. And that's an okay thing. People have to kind of wrap their heads around that. Oh, I want it to run fully electric for efficiency. Sure you do, but you also want to run overall efficiency of heat efficiency, that kind of thing, temperature management. So let the car think for itself, and in the winter it will run a little bit more gasoline engine than normal. That's okay. If you want a full EV, we got some really good ones out now. We got some really, really good ones coming out very, very soon, and that's another option for you in the same price range. So different vehicles, but probably in that similar price range, you can get certainly some EVs as well. And then you don't have to worry about running a gasoline engine. What where are we here? Does the Sorento come with a level 1 and 2 charging plug? So yes, level 1 charging plug in the PHEV comes with it. So that's the only one you would need. Any of the PHEVs or EVs that we sell, level 1 charging comes with it, which is that orange cord I showed you in the back. Level 2 is something you would buy separately, which may or may not make sense. I don't really recommend needing that for a level, for a PHEV. It's up to you. It just, you're never stranded, right? So it just depends on the type of usage you want to do. Does Kia Connect features work with these models? For Kia Connect, is there a free version or is it totally by subscription? So Kia Connect is a app on your cell phone that can remote start these cars. It can do all kinds of things. It can tell you, there's a lot. We just did a Blue Link and Kia Connect video if you want to see that. It's about 14, 16 minutes long. Filmed it the other day. It's well worth checking out if you're interested in this. But the cell phone can control your car, things like preheating, that kind of thing. And that does work with these vehicles as well if it has that. So the gasoline vehicle, the trim line we're looking at today, I don't believe has it, but the higher trim levels of the PHEV and hybrid do, and the higher trim levels of the gasoline have it. So you can do everything from find your vehicle, you can make sure the doors are locked, you can make sure you can lock the doors and unlock the doors, flashlights, honk the horn, and remote start the car, even with these PHEV and hybrid models from the phone. The nice thing about the phone remote start is you can set things like your heat and your heated steering wheel, heated seats, those kind of things. You can change that from your phone based on what you're doing. And of course, you have the ability to, on at least the gasoline model of the Sorento, it's one of the unique ones that the 360 cameras, you can take pictures with those cameras from your phone. All right, we're at 40 minutes. This is longer than we normally go. We got 105 people on. I was kind of going for 100 likes here today. So we're at 93 likes. If you have a like to leave, that'd be great if we could leave it, and we'll try to get to 100 likes. I'm gonna double check here to see if I got most of your comments. I know I didn't get them all, but I'll do what I can. What's the kilometer range, full tank, battery, gas, hybrid? You guys are gonna have to do your own math on that. The difference is the PHEV, the mileage can really vary because you can get 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 kilometers on a tank of gas if you continue to charge. So you can do some math on that. 47-liter tank, 67-liter tank. I believe that's also a 67-liter tank in the gas model. But range is certainly is there for you in all of these vehicles. The PHEV just can vary based on what you're doing. So that's a good question, but I'm not going to do the math on a live video. No chance. I don't have that number in front of me, so there's that. How long does it take to full charge EV cars? So different with each ones. The PHEV, let's just see if we can show. Actually, the PHEV, you have to show you when it's empty. I believe it is 4 and 10 hours. So 4 hours on the level 2 charger that we have it plugged into right now, around 10 hours on the level 1 charger. So we're going to leave it there. We've gone a long, long time. I want to thank you guys for joining us, 109 people on. If you want to see more videos like this, leave me a comment, say this was a good video, tell me that it was good. Watch it for a significant amount of time, like it, those kind of things. Even share it with your friends. Basically, the better these videos perform, the more we know you guys like them, and we'll do more like it. So I know this one was a little specific and went a long time, but we can do other videos as well. We do a video like this every single weekday at 2 o'clock. And I want to thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for the 100+ likes and 111 that are still on. We'll talk to you again soon. And like I said, as soon as this video is posted, there's a chance to leave comments below. Feel free to do that if you want as well. And we will talk to you all again tomorrow.